Hey y'all, and welcome to my 2026 resolution. My name is Michaela. Welcome to the madness that is my life. So this year I told myself I wanted to challenge myself, get back into crocheting. I've been crocheting for roughly a decade on and off, but I've never made any amigurumi or 3D little creatures or plushies or anything like that. I've made headbands, hats, sweaters, blankets, things like that. But I've never made anything quite on this caliber, so hopefully this doesn't give me a run for my money. But I've been collecting these for almost as long. Honestly, I've just never challenged myself to learn how to do it because I am self-taught. I taught myself around middle school, and I did it so that my grandma could learn too, which is a long story. But anyways, the gist of it is that she refused to learn. We did like a cute little crochet class. She was like, yeah, this is difficult. I'm not gonna do it. I'd rather pay you to make me stuff. So that's what we've been doing all this time. But as you can see, I have collected quite a collection of crochet kits, and I have more at my other house. So there's that, or at my mom's house, I should say. Now that I live with my husband, I shouldn't say my other house. But yeah, and a lot of these were acquired from Ollie's. You might see the big orange sticker. This one was $4. This one was $7. This one was $5, $4, $7. A lot of these were acquired from Ollie's, but you can also get them from Barnes and Noble. You can get them from Costco, Sam's, wholesalers like that. Out here we have BJ's wholesaler, but they are sold in a lot of different places. I think the best place you could get them from is Barnes and Noble. Please, 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 please support your local Barnes and Noble. But yeah, I can't wait to show you all what I create, and I hope you enjoy. Before I begin, I want to go over a few things that I got before I started, before I decided to start the crochet kits. So I was looking online for a kit. I was looking online for the cheapest way to get a bunch of different colors, because each of these kits are going to have a multitude of colors that I'll need. For this one, on the back you can see there's like light gray, dark gray, brown, green, blue, light blue, orange, pink, beige, like just different colors in general. So I wanted to make sure that I had all of them ahead of time, because I do find that I procrastinate and give myself excuses. So in my search, I found this big mega kit from Red Heart, and I don't know what I was thinking when I saw it. I think I got this for around $70 at Yarnspiration. And if you sign up for the first time, you get like a 15% off coupon, which basically covers like tax and a little bit of the shipping. But yeah, I ended up getting this. Oh, this is better. I ended up getting this for a majority of my colors. It comes with 36 colors, and I don't know what I was thinking when it came in, or when I got it, like how big the yarn was gonna be. But I was not expecting it to be this small. Let's see. Do they have? Where is it? I hope it's not at the bottom. That would be annoying, but it probably is. This is the Mega Craft kit. I might just compare it to this one. Honestly, we'll see if they have black at the bottom here. And if you do hear like a droning noise, that's my heater. Oh, here it is. Okay, so that's what I was looking for. I wish they had a zipper on the bottom, but whatever. I have this. See how it's placed. Replace these. I wonder if this one was open before, because look at the difference in these two. I think maybe eventually I'll do a quality, I'll buy this again and do a quality control on it, and like weigh these and stuff, because this is hinky. And I'll probably try and take a picture of it close up, but I'm not too happy about that. Yeah, I'm not too happy about that. I don't know why this one is so tightly wound and it's so tiny. But anywho. Anywho, these are the differences in the yarns kinds. So if you get the mega kit like I did, you'll get this tiny little skein. I think this one might be like 50 grams. Don't quote me on that, but I think so. And then this one is this one is 128 grams, and the jumbo is 744. And so I did go to the store and get them today to show a comparison. And let me see. The set of 36 was around 70 bucks. So that's roughly $2 or $1 something. Well, actually, let me check. Okay, this pack was around $70. You can also purchase it for $50 on Amazon as well. But my husband doesn't like Amazon, so I try not to shop there. So this one was around $1.36 if you get it for $50 each. And then these are $3.47, $3.47. Let me check. $3.77 and $7.49, $7.48. Okay, so if you get this in a pack of 50, you get them for roughly $1.39 each. If you get this from the store, they are $3.77, and this one was $7.47. So all different prices. I mean, if you wanted to, you could spend $100, $200, but I just didn't have the money, and I really didn't want to spend all that money on something that I might not continue. But I'm gonna challenge myself, and I'm gonna try really hard not to. But these are the comparisons. And I'll just, actually, let me take a picture of them, because this is so cute. It's like mama, papa, baby. Of course, I would have it on a black table, but don't mind me. Okay, so there's that tidbit of it. Let's see. And for this project, I did get a few things. Not too many, because I already have a bunch of crochet things. Honestly, it's pretty bad. Actually, it's not that bad, considering I've been doing it for a while. I got this for like tension and my hand cramping. I don't use this. I don't even think I'm using it right. Like, I really want the company who made this to make videos on them using it, because it's just so awkward and uncomfortable. I will give it another try, because I really got this to try it out for my friend and then show her how to use it and stuff. But she's crocheting just fine without it, and yeah, I don't know. I didn't like it very much. But I have a bunch of needles. I already had these, which are the darning needles, of the needles they use to sew them together, and some stitch markers. I have a Winnie the Pooh kit from Hobby Lobby that looks sketchy, but I'm gonna try it out eventually and compare it to this one, just to see like the differences in this one and this one. So stay tuned for that. And then I don't know what's in here. Stitch markers. Anyways, let's get out of here. Oh, these are so cute. Okay. Let's move that out the way. And then I also have this bad boy of needles. Ta-da! Of course I dropped it. So these come in a different array of plastic, metal. I did record a video. I got like a ton of stitch markers and I just organized them by color. Maybe I'll post it, but the quality of the video was so bad. So that's why I never posted it. Just forever ago. And I even have some metal darning needles or sewing type needles for the crochet, to like sew each of the things together. I use them to sew like the headband together. Usually did it in one strip and then I sewed it together. Some people will crochet in a loop and then make the headband, but I just didn't feel like doing that. So I would just sew them together and try and make like an invisible seam. And then let me put this up, because this is getting out of hand. One day I will go through this, organize them, and then deal with them accordingly. But that day is not today. And then what else? My big jumbo needles. I do have these. I have these little compression finger things. I think you can make them too. I've seen some people crochet them, but I have these just because sometimes my hands do start to cramp up, which is one of the reasons why I kind of stopped crocheting. I didn't realize that you're supposed to take breaks, and I never did. So now I have these to help. And don't ask me why they're at the bottom of my container, because I don't want to talk about it. I think there's supposed to be 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Maybe I have 14 fingers. No, maybe there's supposed to be 20. 14, 16, 18, 20. Maybe this supposed to be 20. Yeah. And I'm just going to change this because it's been bothering me. I'm personally not a big fan of the silicone wristbands for your watch, because you can't just like hurry up and put your watch on. I don't know. I just prefer the stretchy ones, and I couldn't find it. Couldn't find mine. So if you don't mind, I'm going to do this real quick. Loosen it a bit and done. Alright, I'm gonna put this in the case to be washed, because I need to wash it. Okay, so I got these 3 fingers. I also have a light up crochet needle kit, and it's definitely dead because I haven't used it in a long time. But I use this, and it's pretty ergonomic to use, and I think this needle is super, this might be like a 1mm, 2mm. Yeah, this might be a 2mm that's on here. I'll know when I take it off what size it is. But I have this. I do enjoy crocheting in bed. Sometimes my husband is trying to go to sleep, so I got a glow in the dark one. Sometimes I'm like in the middle, it'll be in the middle of the night and I'm like in the dark watching something. So I got that. I got these ergonomic hooks that came with the darning needles and stitch markers. So I'll be able to use that. And this has like the different sizes and the silicone body for it. So there's that one. And then this one is another glow in the dark, not glow in the dark. This one is another needle set that lights up. This one also has like, you can do your stitches and your rows. You can do a stitch and row counter. But the needles are metal on this one. So there's not as much light that shows through. Like the light shows through on this clear part and it goes through here. So it's not as bright, which is good and bad. Also, I don't think the needles go as low as the other one. This one is a 3. And this one is a 2.5. So yeah, maybe the other one's a 2.5 because they look similar. So there's that little tidbit. But I have these. I have my good old handy dandy set of needles. The only issue with the thinner needles, like this one's a 3.5. Let's see if I can find one that's really small. The only issue with the 3, like this one's a 3, and it's really tiny, but it bends. And so I'll either have to get a piece that you put on top of here or something to make it more ergonomic, because it's so, like, my nails are digging into my hand holding on to this. So that is what is one of the things that has kept me from learning, because I didn't want to use big old, like the thicker weight yarns and do it, because it would cost more for the stuffing and it just costs more all around, and I don't know, it's just too expensive. So I never did it, but I will look into ways to make these more ergonomic and more durable, less flimsy. I will, however, take out a few that I think I might need, like the eye, 4.5, 5mm, 4.5. These are 4.5 in plastic. Because I don't know if I have a preference or not to plastic or metal. I know that at one point in time it was just so annoying going through like TSA or anything that was like a metal detector, and so I'd bring my plastic needles just so I could crochet. I think I did that in like court one time. I don't remember what happened. I just told him to keep them. I was like, y'all can keep them. And I think he gave it back to me after we left. I was like, I'm not gonna fight you over a needle. I don't even remember why I was in court, probably for a ticket. But whatever. .5, 4. This one's a 5. I think that should be good, because honestly, that yarn looks like it's gonna be a 4. A 5 or a 4. Usually Red Heart is generally a 5.5. I think I honestly use a 5 for this type of yarn. Maybe a 5.25. Because I stitch pretty tight. I think I've heard that about like a lot of people who are self-taught, their stitches are a lot tighter. So there's that. Let's see if I have some darning needles with different weights and different sizes. I'm just gonna take this one out, just in case it proves useful. I don't know. Y'all have different sizes. I'll take 3 and leave the rest because I will lose a needle. You might think, oh, this is absolutely ridiculous to have so many crochet needles. When I moved out of my mom's house and I moved in with my husband, who was my fiance boyfriend at the time, my boyfriend then fiance at the time, I found so many crochet needles like under my bed, in between the cracks and stuff. It was bad. It was really bad. And so I put them all in here. So yeah, I have quite the collection. But these are gonna be my tools of the trade for these videos. And I might end up getting some more, we'll see. I also, in the kits, they come with some of the things that you need. And you'll be able to see that in future videos. But it comes with some yarn to make some stuff that's in it, like a few. This one says it can make Mr. Rogers and the Striped Tiger and Daniel the Striped Tiger. So that one is supposedly in here. So I guess we'll see on that one. And it should have stuffing and the eyes and everything in here. But after looking it up on like Reddit, I've seen other videos on this, very few, which is why I wanted to start it too, because I haven't seen very many videos on these. But a lot of people don't like the yarn and stuff that's in here already. So we'll see. I'll compare it and see for myself if it's really beginner friendly, especially beginner friendly in the sense that I've never done these type of things before. So can't wait to show you in the next video. All right, y'all, let's unbox my first crochet kit that I plan on using. So I chose this one because my husband and I recently watched the Mr. Rogers movie with Tom Hanks in it. I forgot what it's called. A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. And we loved it. So I'm going to crochet this one. This one came from Ollie's, of course, from where most of my things came from. And let's see what's in here. We have the eyes and a little darning needle. Oh, I didn't realize that was stuck there. It comes with a little needle in it, and it actually was secured. I think I opened this before, or maybe it was just loose to begin with, and maybe that's something I'll have to pay attention to. But this one came with a 2.25. Oh my gosh, that is so tiny. And one of the things that I did see about these needles is they are super bendy, so I'm worried about that. Try and bend it back. So I'm gonna, especially because like I said, I'm gonna be digging my nails in it, trying to crochet with it, digging my nails into myself. So I'm gonna try to get something to put around the base of it, the base of the body, to give me some wrist support and just support in general. And then here is the yarn that comes in it. Okay, maybe I did try to start this and I gave up. Sounds about right. Or maybe I bought it and I wasn't paying attention and somebody else tried to do it. Don't know, we'll see. I will wind these up into little cakes if I can. I really wish there was like a mini cake winder. That would be so cute. I don't have to see if my husband can make me one. And then the book with everybody in it and the author. I can't show the patterns. But I will try to make a list of all of the characters that are enclosed in here. And maybe y'all can pick what my next one will be. Well, that would be fun. So I'm gonna just take all this out. I think after this it's empty. Oh, here is the stuffing that I'll need. And then outside of that it should be pretty empty. This is the empty box. Oh, this is what was holding the needle in place. So maybe I did take it out. I don't know. Who knows? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna place all of this back in here because maybe I'll do something with it. I am whatever generation that likes to hold on to boxes, even though actually I might be the generation under it. I don't care. I just like to hold on. I just keep holding on to boxes, so whatever. But here is the final product of everything. I'm not gonna put the yarn on top. And that is everything. Can't wait. All right, y'all, so I'm gonna wind up some yarn. Y'all let me know what y'all think I'm gonna make next. Actually, let me see if there's a difference in whatchamacallit, because my thing is wine. I mean, my heater was on just now. Ooh. Here. That is Okay, so my first thing is I'm literally off to the side untangling this. This yarn is so tangled. It's ridiculous. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to cut this so much for it to be one continuous video. Oh my gosh. Oh my god, this is ridiculous. I will say that undoing this is gonna be my undoing. I hope that this isn't a precursor to what the patterns are gonna be, because I will literally lose it. I will literally lose my mind. Oh my gosh, so bad. Okay, this is the other end, and part of me wants to like roll this in a ball, so bear with me because I'm gonna roll this into a ball. Because this is absolutely atrocious. And I might do that for the other ones because, oh my gosh. And I did see someone, I don't remember if it was on Reddit, TikTok, what social media platform it was on, but I did see that some people will use like their yarn scraps that they can't make into something else, or it's really too short and small, or like the little end snippings parts. Anyways, I've seen them use that as stuffing too, just to save on stuffing from that like polyester stuffing. But oh my gosh, look at this. And this this acrylic yarn feels terrible. I'm not even gonna lie. It is, I don't know if it's because it's so thin, but this is absolutely awful quality. I see why people talk about the yarn that comes in the pack. Oh my gosh, y'all, I just ate something spicy and now I feel like now it sounds like I have a cold. Reminder to future self, don't eat spicy okra before filming, or while filming, I should say. Before or while filming. It's a bad idea. And then once I'm done with this, I will get back to editing. I'll get to editing tomorrow. And hopefully these videos came out good. If not, I'm gonna be quite upset. I really need to look up what these symbols mean on my thing. Okay, finally. And they did have this little knot. And now that I combined everything, I can get this little knot out. Ta-da! All right, back to winding. This is the tiniest cake. I really wish... Okay, this is a note to my future self, future husband, whoever... Not future husband. To my husband in the future. He's gonna be so mad when he sees that. Anyways, I want something like this, but tiny. So say I wanted to do... like I wanted to wind up a bunch of tiny balls of yarn like this, or like the other one, and say they're all like, I don't know, maybe 50 grams, but 50 grams in this small size or something, or 25 grams in this small weight of yarn would be completely different. So I want like a really tiny one like this that will yarn a good, that will do a good size ball, because this one was so thin that it like kind of collapsed. So we'll see if it gets more tangled, and I'll probably just say screw it, but we'll see. We shall see. And then this ball next. I'm trying to find out where it's coming from. Oh, I see. And I'm going to put on a video real quick. So I'll just have to mute that out because this is gonna annoy me. So I'm going to listen to one of my scary podcasts for a second.
I work as a search and rescue officer in California. I don't think I'll mention my name. It's not important, and it's probably better if I don't. Everything I'm about to tell you did happen. Some of it happened directly to me. Some of it I know through reports and first-hand statements from people I've worked with for years. There are stories going around online about what's out there in the national parks. I've read a few. Most people treat them, like campfire material or urban legends. That's fine. I'm not trying to convince anyone of anything. I'm just going to tell you what I've seen, what I've been told, and what ended up in our reports, even when we didn't know what to do with it afterward. Most search and rescue calls are kind of boring. People get tired, get turned around, panic early. They make things worse for themselves. We find them a mile or two off trail, cold and embarrassed. Those calls don't stick with you. The ones that do are the calls where distance stops making sense. The first time that happened to me involved a 6-year-old boy. He was hiking with his parents and his older sister.
I'm pulling from one
in a national park they've been to
one
dozens
end,
of times.
and this yard is terrible.
Visibility, no steep drops. According to both
I want to
parents,
see, because some of the yarn, some of them aren't like this. They are...
the parents stopped to check.
Okay, so I want to see if some of the, like the year on some of these, because some yarns are Hanks, which is like the little twisted one, and some are Some are in these like weird balls that are terrible. Oh my gosh, this is so bad. I just want to give up on it, honestly. Like, this is so awful. Why would they do this? And I've just made it worse, I'm sure, but I'm just like, screw it. I don't care. I'll figure it out. I did at one point find this really fun, but then eventually it does get a little annoying, unfortunately. In the beginning, it was fun.
Map at a trail junction. They looked back up, and the boy was gone. Not wandered off slowly, gone. The sister said he'd been there when she turned around. Then he wasn't. No screaming, no running sound, nothing crashing through brush. They searched for about 10 minutes before calling him in. And we responded hard. Multiple teams, dogs, air support requested. His last known point was clear and recent, which usually means a good outcome. Kids that age don't cover much ground on their own. They get scared, they hide, and they sit down. The dogs picked up his scent quickly. That part made everything feel better. The trail was clean and the track was strong. The dogs followed the trail for about a quarter mile, then stepped off to the right, into terrain that sloped downward and got rocky real fast. And that's where things stopped lining up. The scent didn't scatter or loop, didn't double back. It went straight for another half a mile, and then just ended. No road or clearing, no reason for it to end there. We expanded the search radius, then expanded it again. The terrain didn't allow for vehicles, and there were no signs of an adult presence. No footprints besides the child's, no drag marks or disturbed ground. We searched for 3 days. On the 4th day, a call came in from a fire lookout crew operating in a completely different section of the park. They were reporting a child sitting near the summit of a ridge they accessed only by service road and foot trail. The location was just under 40 miles northwest of where the boy had gone missing. 40 miles. We assumed it was a different kid. It wasn't. When we got there, he was sitting on a rock outcropping just below the ridgeline, legs dangling, swinging his feet. He was wearing the same clothes he'd vanished in. No jacket, no hat, no shoes. His feet weren't bloody. They weren't even really dirty. He wasn't hypothermic or dehydrated or injured. He waved when he saw us. The medic checked him over while we secured the area. The boy kept asking when his parents were coming and whether his sister was still mad at him. No confusion or distress. When asked how he got there, he shrugged and said, I walked. No one pushed him on it right away. You don't interrogate kids in the field. We packaged him and got him out. The real questions came later. During the debrief, one of the officers asked him who he'd been with while he was gone. The assumption was that maybe he'd followed another hiker or encountered someone on a lesser used trail. He shook his head. Then he said, Well, I was with the deer man for a little bit. The room went quiet, but nobody reacted. Kids say things. He let them talk. Asked to explain. He said the deer man was tall and had antlers. Didn't say horns, he said antlers. He said one of them was gone and that the other one looked loose. He was asked if the deer man touched him. No, he said. He just walked with me. We asked him where the deer man went. He said he can't go where it's loud, the boy began. So he left. And then without being prompted, he added, He said he's not the bad one. Someone asked who the bad one was. The wolf man, the boy said. He said watch out for him. The phrase, watch out for him, was written down verbatim. Well, the boy was reunited with his parents that night. Doctors cleared him. The story made local news for about a week, mostly focusing on the distance and the miracle angle. The deer man part never made it past internal notes. About a month later, I was assigned to a separate call in a different park. Lost hiker, adult male. We found him before nightfall, shaken but luckily uninjured. While walking him out, he asked me if we'd seen the thing with antlers. I asked him to explain. He said he'd seen something tall watching from a ridgeline earlier that afternoon. Said it stood upright and didn't move when he yelled. He said he didn't think it was an animal because animals don't stand like that. I asked if it followed him. He said no. He said it stayed where it was and watched until he left the area. I didn't say anything back. There's not really anything useful to say in those moments. Well, a few weeks after that, one of the rangers who'd done a follow-up visit with the 6-year-old's family called me. During the visit, they'd been talking about hiking safety with the kids. Stay together, don't wander, don't follow strangers. The boy interrupted him. He said that doesn't work if the rocks sound hollow, the boy said. The ranger asked who said that. The deer man, the boy began. He said that's where the wolf man goes. The ranger told me the kid said it like a warning. The ranger asked him what the wolf man was. The boy shrugged. He said he looks like a man until you get close. Then he doesn't. That was the only description he gave. Didn't elaborate or make sounds or gestures. When the ranger tried to ask follow-up questions, the kid lost interest and went back to playing with his sister. The ranger didn't push it, and neither did I when he told me later. Kids say weird things. That's the job. You note it, you move on. Except I didn't move on, because I'd already heard the word once before, and now I heard it again, in the same context, with the same casual certainty. The next time it came up, it wasn't a kid. It was a teenage boy, 16, missing overnight after leaving the trailhead alone. He was found the next morning, sitting against a rock face about 10 miles from where he'd been dropped off. He was exhausted and dehydrated, but otherwise fine. While the medic was checking him, he kept looking down slope, like he expected something to come up from below. One of the officers asked him what he was looking for. The kid said, "It stayed down there." The officer asked, "What stayed down there?" The kid hesitated, then said, "The thing." The officer asked him to explain. The kid said he'd been walking downhill when he heard something moving below him. He said he stopped because it didn't sound like an animal. He said whatever it was stayed downhill from him the entire time. The officer asked if he saw it, and the kid said no. Asked how he knew where it was, he said, "You could tell." When asked why he stopped walking, the kid said, "Because it told me to." That got written down, and the officer asked what it said. The kid replied, "It said not to go where the rocks echo, because that's where the wolfman goes." The interview didn't go any further. The kid shut down after that, wouldn't answer more questions, didn't want to talk about it again. A year later, we were searching for an adult male who'd gone missing during a solo overnight trip. Experienced backpacker in a familiar area. The weather was clear. We found him alive after 2 days, sitting in a dry wash that wasn't on any of his planned routes. He was angry more than scared. He kept insisting we'd taken too long. During a walkout, one of the officers asked him why he left the trail, and the man said, "'Cause something told me not to go that way." Asked to describe it, the man said it stood upright and didn't move like an animal. He said it stayed just out of sight, always around a bend or behind a rise. When asked what the upright thing said, the man replied, "It told me not to go where the sound was, because that's where the wolfman is." And that was the third adult to use that word. Nobody had said it first. Well, after that, we started finding people at the edges of places like that, just sitting outside like they'd been stopped. One of the canine handlers mentioned his dog refusing to track downhill in certain ranges. Just refusing. Another officer mentioned radios cutting out only when teams moved into low, rocky areas. Just specific spots. And the weirdest one didn't involve a search at all. It involved a call from a hiker who said he'd found something and didn't want to touch it. We met him about 5 miles off trail. What he'd found was a pile of gear, backpack, boots, and jacket, all laid out neatly on a flat rock. There was no blood or signs of a struggle. The owner of the gear was never found. While we were down in the sea, the hiker who found it asked if he'd heard about the thing that stays below. One of the officers asked him, and the hiker said, "Some people call it the wolfman." Well, the next one didn't involve terrain warnings or kids repeating phrases. It didn't involve downhill movement or sound or anything like that. It involved an older couple who came back different. They weren't missing on a weekday, late spring. It was clear weather, no storms or heat advisory, nothing that would complicate a normal search. They were in their early 60s, married and retired. They'd been hiking together for years and weren't pushing anything ambitious. According to the trailhead log in their itinerary, they planned to be out for 6 or 7 hours, moving back to the same parking area. But they didn't come back. Their car was still there that evening. Rangers checked the trails, did searches, and we were called in the next morning. It wasn't a panic search, exactly. There were no injuries reported, no occupation found, just overdue hikers. We ran standard procedures. Last known point was clean, no sign of distress or dropped gear, no obvious direction of travel off trail. And by the end of day 1, there was nothing. By the end of day 3, we were expanding the search area and bringing in additional resources. Helicopter crews ran grid patterns, dog work scent, until it thinned out and disappeared in multiple places, which didn't make sense, given how close together the couple were hiking. On day 5, the search was still bad, and on day 6, they walked back into the parking lot. They came out of the trees just after noon, holding hands, walking normally, like they just finished a short hike. They went straight to their car and stood there looking at it for a long time before a ranger approached them. They didn't look injured or malnourished. They didn't look like people who'd been missing for almost a week. They looked younger. That wasn't my first thought, but it was my second. My first thought was that I was looking at the wrong people. The ranger asked them their names, and they answered correctly. They asked them where they'd been. They said they didn't know. Asked how long they thought they'd been gone, and they guessed a few hours. They were brought back to base. Their driver's licenses were pulled.
Mm. Mm-mm.
From their wallets, everything matched. Same names and addresses, same issue dates. But the photos didn't match. The people sitting in front of us looked at least 20 years younger than the photos on their licenses. Not healthier or rested. Younger. They were transported to a hospital for a full workup. I followed up later. There's nothing medically wrong with them. No signs of cosmetic procedures. No hormone treatments. No conditions that explained what we were seeing. When interviewed, they couldn't account for missing time. They remembered hiking and stopping to rest. And I remembered a bright light. Didn't remember being hungry or sleeping, and they didn't remember walking back. They didn't remember us. What didn't make it into the official report were the statements from other hikers. Two separate groups came forward after the story hit local news. Both groups said they'd seen something unusual the day the couple disappeared. One group described a light above the tree line that moved in a slow, circular pattern. It was controlled. They assumed it was a helicopter at first, but said it made no sound and stayed in the same place for too long. Another group said they'd seen what they described as a round structure above a clearing-off trail. They said it lowered until it was just above the trees, then rose again and disappeared straight up. Neither group knew about the missing couple at the time. Neither group knew each other, as far as we could tell. One asked where they'd seen it. Both pointed to the same general area. The area was within the original search box. Well, we went back out there later. Found nothing unusual. No markings or disturbed grounds. No radiation levels. No equipment failures. The couple moved upstate a few months later. I don't know where they went. I do know that every time I see an ID photo now, I look a little longer than I used to. Now, the next story doesn't involve lights at all. It involves a box. We found it during a training weekend. Not a search, not a recovery. Just a multi-day navigation and response exercise in an area we use a few times a year because it's remote, difficult, and mostly untouched. No trails where we were operating, campsites. No reason for anyone to be there unless they were very lost or very deliberate. One of the teams radioed in that they found something unusual and wanted a supervisor to come look at it before they touched it. I was closest. It was sitting in the exact center of a clearing. A rectangular box, maybe 3 feet long.
This thing needs some oil, something. WD-40. Because this is ridiculous. Sound like I'm rubbing two rocks together or something. It's a hot mess. And where did this come from? Like, how do you get a knot all the way at the end of the thing? Like, it just don't, something. Yeah, I'm not liking this yarn already. And it's also a little too small. I'm not, I don't think I've ever dealt with this yarn weight in my life. Because I was like, what are you going to do with that? Nothing. Like, what do you... Now, the thin ones like these, the ones that don't look windable, I'm just gonna leave them like this. So hopefully y'all don't mind, but there's nothing I'm gonna do with that. And these look a little questionable too, if I'm honest, but whatever.
"2 feet wide and about 1.5 feet tall, wrapped tightly in red material. The color at first was bright, solid red. It stood out in a way that made your eyes lock onto it immediately. And there were words written on top in black marker. Do not open. all caps. No one touched it. Well, we circled it first. That's standard. Looking for wires, disturbed ground, no tracks, and no warning. The ground around it wasn't grass. No footprints leading around, no drag marks. Nothing that suggested how we got there. One of the officers joked that it looked like evidence from another case that had been dropped in the wrong place. No one laughed. Someone else said we should leave it alone and mark the coordinates. Another officer said it needed to be logged and removed. I remember standing there and feeling a very strong sense of dread. Well, one of the guys grabbed it, and he moved it anyway. And the decision did not sit well with anyone afterward. We used gloves and a tarp. We loaded it carefully and transported it back to base with the rest of our equipment. At base, it was logged as found property and placed in a secure storage room. Not evidence, technically. Just an item recovered from protected land with no owner. And that's when the problems started. The first report came from a night shift ranger doing rounds. He said he heard something coming from the storage room. At first, he said it was an animal, a raccoon, or something that had gotten in through a vent. When he checked the room, nothing's out of place. He said the sound stopped as soon as he opened the door. The next report came 2 nights later from a different ranger. He said he heard voices, not clear words, but something close enough that he thought someone else was in the room. When he opened the door, it stopped. No one admitted to messing with it, but we had any reason to. A week later,
when you find the little middle piece out of here, start pulling it,
and found the box turned 90 degrees from how it had been placed.
and that way you'll get a better, less tangled pull.
We reviewed security footage. The cameras didn't show the storage room interior.
I may have gotten a little overzealous. Maybe went a little too fast for this cheap, staticky one. But for the most part, pulling from the middle will give you a better winding, and it won't tangle as bad. So again, this was the yarn that I pulled out from the like this. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all couldn't see. Okay, so again, this was the yarn that I pulled out from the middle. Like it was like wound like this, right? Then I took it apart, opened it, based on this little curve. And then I tried to just loosely pull, something around the edges that would give me the yarn, like the one in the middle, the yarn end in the middle. And so, guess we will all see on camera how well it does, or how much better or worse it does. I'll make sure I'm on the right side, so you'll be able to see like how it pulls from the middle. And another tangle. Lovely yarn. Lovely. Okay, well, I was a bit, I don't know. I was a bit too kind to the yarn. Said too many nice things, and this happened, so let me just try and detangle this as much as possible. But honestly, all this yarn that I wound today might just end up in the stuffing. Like, it might just be the stuffing for the other yarn because this is crazy. I am gonna try to finish winding the other colors that I might need. Because I'm gonna try to do this on the trip that I'm taking with my husband. So we'll see if I'm able to do that, which would be so much fun. I don't think this is gonna yarn very much. Like, I think this one was like even smaller than these two. So I'm just gonna leave this one like this too, because I don't think it's gonna go around very much. And then the stuffing and the needle. This is the little baby needle they gave me. But if you didn't guess already, this is the one I'm doing. The Mr. Rogers Neighborhood Crochet Kit. And these are everything that comes in it. So yeah, I'm super excited. These are finger puppets. Like all of these are finger puppets except for, oh, my bad. So these are all finger puppets. This one and the trolley are the only ones that aren't finger puppets. So yeah, which is cute because they were finger puppets in Mr. Rogers. So this is gonna be fun. I can't wait to finish it up.